Welcome to the Her Handmade Hustle Unplugged podcast. I'm Joanne Pearce, a female entrepreneur, small business coach, and a creative business owner on a mission to help and inspire other women out there who want to make a decent living doing something they love. If you have your own small business, or maybe you've been thinking about starting one but not sure where to start, then this podcast is for you. I share everything I know about starting a creative business from my own experience of running my handmade stationery company, Vintage Twee. It's as honest and as down to earth as me, and it's an eclectic mix of sound business advice, northern humour, and real life, because it's not easy, is it? This podcast celebrates the selflessness, the strength, and resilience of women, because we possess a superpower so great that we can handle whatever life throws at us and come out the other side. We are survivors, we are warriors, and we are as determined as hell to succeed. Hello and welcome to the Her Handmade Hustle Unplugged podcast. I hope you've all had a productive week, and thank you to everyone who messaged me to let me know that last week's episode was really helpful to them. That really means a lot. It was all about how you can prepare your creative business for Christmas. So if you're wondering how you can get yourself ready for the festive rush, or how you'll manage if there's actually no rush whatsoever and Christmas sales always seem to disappoint, then you're going to want to listen to that episode. Go and check it out if you haven't already. It's called Slay the Season. So this week is a good one. Get your notepads out or save this episode to your phone so you can revisit it anytime, because we're talking SEO, search engine optimization. And we're going to be learning the things that we should be doing to help our small but mighty businesses get seen. I'm joined by Dr. Tonya Lawson. She's an SEO specialist who, when we first met a couple of weeks ago, told me that she can explain SEO so simply that even your grandmother would understand it. I mean, she's our kind of lady, right? Tonya is also a musician, she's a college professor, a YouTuber, and she's joining us from her home in Nashville, Tennessee. I so wanted to fly out there, honestly, and do this interview over some barbecue chicken wings and a whiskey. But unfortunately, I had to do the school run an hour later, so a video call had to suffice. Damn it. Anyway, you're going to learn a lot from Tonya today. She's telling us all about how to make sure your work gets found on search engines like Google. And we're talking keywords and how to use them. You know, the importance of writing effective product descriptions and what you need to be saying when you're describing your work. You know, she's actually really good at this one. She made me want to buy this cool Halloween mug she was drinking her morning coffee out of. Honestly, it was captivating. She explains like how and why the images that you use are just as important as the text for SEO. Tonya explains the things that Google's looking for on your website to drive it up there in the search results. And you know what? It's all easy to implement stuff. It's not hard to do, I promise, but it makes a massive difference. What I loved about interviewing Tonya is that she actually gave some real examples of how you do this stuff, you know, as if she were you, the small business owner, selling your beautiful products, your candles, your soaps. Plus, she also talks about SEO and social media. I grilled her on this one because I know that it's the bane of all our lives. You know, how can we be optimizing our posts to make sure that they have the best possible chance of getting in front of the right people? Because it can seem pretty hopeless, can't it, at times? So I've asked her all about that as well. So if you haven't already got your feet up with a brew in one hand and your notepad in the other, go and do it now. Because seriously, Tonya knows her stuff, and she's in our corner. She's fighting for the small creative business owners to get their work seen online. Because you deserve it. And it's totally doable. So here's my interview with Dr. Tonya Lawson. Enjoy. Hi, Tonya.
Hi.
Thanks so much for joining us today on the Her Handmade Hustle Unplugged podcast. It's lovely to have you.
I am so excited to be here.
Oh, it's great. I mean, you're all the way in Nashville, Tennessee, aren't you?
I am.
You are. And, you know, I've never been. It's on my bucket list. It's somewhere that I've really wanted to go for a very long time. Maybe I'll make it there at some point. I haven't travelled since COVID, so that's my aim, to get over to the States again as soon as possible.
Yeah, yes.
And, you know, thank you for joining us, because you're a very busy lady. You are so busy. You literally do everything. I mean, you are a musician, You're a college professor, and obviously an SEO expert, which is why you're here to talk to us today. But yeah, I mean, you've also got a YouTube channel. I've been watching your YouTube videos.
Great.
Absolutely love them. And you just got this really good way of explaining things.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, so this is why I thought you'd be perfect to talk to the ladies that listen to my podcast, because that's what we need. We need simple explanations of things that we're stuck on, and I think this is would be perfect for them. So thank you for being here. And yeah, so tell us, how on earth did you get into SEO? Because obviously your background is working in music and you're a professor. So tell us, how did you get into that?
Well, it's an interesting story. Well, first of all, as a child, I grew up with a dad who was constantly starting a new business. Like my dad, he built houses, he had his own tax business, he drove the ice cream truck around through the neighborhoods, he had a gift shop, he did everything. So being an entrepreneur is kind of in my blood.
Yeah.
But I went to graduate school and I graduated with my doctorate in clarinet performance in 2005. And I was already an entrepreneur. I was already running my own music studio at the time. But I had dreams of becoming a college professor. And I applied for all 50 clarinet positions in the United States. And I made the top two for two of those jobs, flew out for interviews. And in both instances, they chose someone with more experience, which, considering I just graduated, it wasn't hard to have more experience than me at the time. So I did what I knew best. I moved back to Tennessee from Texas and I started building a music studio. And I didn't take it super seriously. It was just a let's pay the bills until we get that job. So the next year, there were only 5 clarinet positions in the United States. I applied for all 5, and I made the finalist. I made the final 2 in one position. Flew out for the interview, and once again, they picked someone with far more experience than me.
It's at the post. Damn it.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, I have to make this music studio like really grow. So I started working on that. And it did. I did really well. In the meantime, I did get a university position here in the town where I live. And I do that part time now. I was full time for a while. I found out I didn't really like teaching at a university full time. And so I have my music studio. And then in the States, band is part of the school curriculum.
Okay.
So students go to band class every day at school. And I live in one of 2 states in the US that allows private teachers to go in and pull students from their band class to have private music lessons. And the county that I live in was questioning whether or not they were going to keep that program. And I panicked because that was my bread and butter. And I was like, I can't keep all my eggs in one basket. I have to do something. So I knew I had a website and I knew that nobody really ever saw it. And I knew other people were out there with websites making money. So I should be able to do it. So I took my first ever SEO course. And that course was taught by what I call a bunch of bros telling me that I needed a niche website if I ever wanted to make money. So that's what I did. I started my coffee website
Oh,
and
right.
it started making money. And the more I got into it, I was like, there has to be a way to apply this to those websites in the creative space. So I really started working on trying to figure out how to make that happen. And I did. And soon my website, TonyaLawson.com, was surpassing my coffee website in income. So
Wow.
I got very excited about it. I created some of my first courses. I started teaching other people how to do it. And then COVID hit. And I saw all of these other musicians, especially, panic because symphonies were furloughed. They were shut down. People weren't working. I mean, they were getting jobs at grocery stores just to pay their rent, and they had been playing in an orchestra first full time for 30 years. So I was lucky because I was already in the online space. It was super easy to transition my private teaching online. I actually got more students during COVID because
Yeah.
parents needed something for their children to do. And I had extra time because I wasn't driving to the schools. So I started my third website, which is a gardening website, which is now 4 years later starting to bring in a small but steady stream of income.
Fantastic. I mean, garden and coffee, my two favorite things in the world. And now SEO. I mean, that's fantastic. So, obviously you've got it in your blood. You've got this entrepreneurial spirit to get going. And that's what it takes, isn't it? Dedication and commitment to what it is that you're doing. You've got to keep at it. What I loved when we first met, you said to me that you can explain SEO simple enough for your grandmother to understand it. And I love that. You're my kind of lady, because that's what we need. And the ladies that listen to this podcast need it explaining as simply as possible. So I'm going to challenge you to, can you explain SEO for us in the simplest terms? First of all, what is it?
SEO stands for search engine optimization. And in just plain speak, all it is that it's a few tweaks you make on your website so that it can start showing up when people search Google.
Perfect. Okay, amazing. Like, that should be in the dictionary. That is so good. That explains it really well. And obviously, the ladies who are listening to my podcast, they all have like a creative online business. So they're making things and they're selling them online. So whether it be through their own website or through marketplaces like Etsy, not on the high street we have over here. So there's all different ways of selling it, but it is mainly online. So can you maybe explain how SEO works in regards to them and what they should be doing in terms of helping getting seen on Google through the use of SEO?
Yes, I will give a few starter tips, because literally, if I went into all the detail on this podcast would be about 18 hours. So the first thing you need to do when you start any website is you need to think, what are people searching for that would bring them to my product?
Yeah.
So, say you make handmade quilts. Okay, so handmade quilts is a big one. Here in the United States, Amish handmade quilts is a big one. Say you do pottery. So think handmade pottery mug.
Yeah.
So think about what people are searching for. Then go out there and Google it
Mhm.
and see what's ranking. You will also, when you get on Google, you will see kind of towards the bottom, other people search for. Those are your related keywords.
Okay.
So if it's pottery, handcrafted pottery Halloween mug, then search it. Make sure when you're writing the copy for that page or that description, you include that keyword, but also include those other people search for keywords in there as well.
That's a really good advice.
But you have to do it in a natural way, a way that makes sense naturally. So think about when you're writing your product description, it needs to be unique, because just handcrafted pottery mug, there's a billion out there.
Exactly. It can seem impossible to get seen.
Yes. So you want to make sure what sets your pottery apart, what makes it different and unique. Put that in there. Also have a clear call to action in there. So like, enjoy your mornings in style, drinking out of this handcrafted luxurious mug, put those in there. So it's not like buy now as a call to action,
Yeah.
but drink your morning coffee in style. That is a call to action, and it's going to hit on those emotional points. Then say the photos of the mug. You want to make sure those are optimized as well. So you want to make sure all the images are compressed so they load faster. And this is like something simple you can do in Canva.
Yes.
You want to make sure they also have alt text or alternative text. And that's what you put within the picture. And most websites have an alt text box. And it's designed for people who are visually impaired to be able to understand the image using a screen reader. So that alt text description, if I were describing the coffee mug I'm drinking out of now, it would be a pink coffee mug with embossed ghost and jack-o'-lanterns with black cats and pink pumpkins.
Yes.
So, but you want to add to that handcrafted. So handcrafted Halloween coffee mug featuring. Make sure you get those keywords into that alt text. It is going to better help Google understand what it's about. And it's also there to help people who are visually impaired. Google sees that and they're like, oh, you have your users in mind.
Mm.
Okay, we're going to drive you up because you have a better user experience. And user experience is something Google is really prioritizing right now. And then if there was one more tip that I would throw in there, make sure that your website is mobile friendly,
Yes,
because
absolutely.
the majority of searches right now start on a phone.
Mhm.
And if it's not mobile friendly, we've all been on those sites that aren't mobile friendly. You can't click what you want to click, and you just click that back button and you go to the next website.
It's so frustrating, isn't it? I hate that. You go on something and then you're trying to zoom in and see what you're trying to see because it doesn't automatically adjust to your phone, and you just say, you just give up and you think, oh, I can't be bothered and I'll go somewhere else. Exactly. So being mobile friendly. And a lot of website builders now, like a lot of the ladies will be using ones like Wix, probably Shopify. They're kind of built in so you can see what the mobile version looks like as well, aren't they?
Absolutely. Most website builders at this point have that option, but you have to actually go in and click to look at it and make changes. And so many people just forget to do that. They're building it on a computer, they're looking at it on a computer, it looks great on a computer.
Yeah. It's true, and I did mine actually for Handmade Hustle. I remember it looked amazing on the desktop, and I was saying to my husband, "Oh, I'm really pleased with it." And then he went on his mobile phone. He went, "Oh, you've got like a big gap there. There's no picture of you where it's disappeared. You know, all your menus messed up." And I was like, "Right, okay then." So I had to then go back and then do the mobile version. But yeah, I didn't realize, and that was a learning curve for me as well.
Yeah, it's a really common mistake that a lot of people make. And Google, really, within even the last 3 months, has boosted the importance of user
Mm.
experience.
How else
Users
can they do
being
that?
able to find what they need quickly and
Yeah.
fast.
And how else can they make how can you make your website more user friendly then? What else are the factors that Google are sort of judging you on and driving you up, with in those results and those rankings?
That is a great question. So, one thing is to make the information that a user is searching for easy to find. So we call this above the fold. So this goes back to the old newspaper.
Mm.
It's on the front page, but on the top side above the fold.
Oh,
So
yeah.
above the fold on a website means within the first page without having to scroll at all. They need to find their answer. So that's very important. If you're dealing with products, because most of your listeners are product based businesses,
Yeah.
think about your product descriptions. Okay. So have your basic product description and the buy now button all on that first phone screen page. They
Mm.
should not have to scroll to look for how to buy it. So you can use things like drop down menus for the specs, further product information,
Yeah.
shipping, etc. You can use all those in little drop down menus below the buy it now button. Your web pages also need to be easy to skim. People do not read anymore. When is the last time you went on the internet and actually read an entire article from beginning
Mhm.
to end?
Mhm. So true.
So we're talking bullet points, bold print, underline text, call out boxes. Make it as easy as possible. If you're selling a service and you have a landing page, have a buy now button like every single scroll so
Mm.
that they have it right there within the scroll. Um, Another thing that you can do with those product descriptions to get them to buy is have that clear call to action. That's going to help as well.
Yes. So you've actually telling them what to do because people need to know, don't they? Sometimes they just think like, right, what do I do now? I like this product. It's lovely. Where do I go now? How do I buy it? Tell them, this is what you need to do. Click to buy.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree. And you know what? You made me think about my own website now, actually, because thinking about it, I think thinking about the above the fold idea. I think the first thing that you see when you log on my website is a picture of me, which is fine, but the text is quite a way down actually. So I think I need to shift that up as well, so people know who I am and what it is I do.
Well, you could do something as simple as have a picture of you on the right side of the screen with the text on the left.
Yeah,
So it's all there in the beginning.
yeah, it's a great idea. And again, for the ladies who've got the product-based businesses, they could have a picture of themselves and then what it is that they do. So straight away, it may be in bold text. So Google knows them, obviously, when you're using the bold text, when you're using headlines and things like that. And that contributes towards user experience. Is that right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Google's also looking for how long people stay on your website. So if they get on your website and instantly click off, that tells Google that they're not interested in what you have.
No.
So that's going to encourage Google to rank you a little bit lower. But if they get on and maybe they click a button or they scroll, even for like 15 seconds, Google's like, oh, people are really looking at this page. Okay, we're going to move it up a little bit.
How do you keep? Obviously you've got to have amazing things that people want to see, but how can you keep them on your page then? Is it basically just from being user friendly, being visually appealing? I read somewhere about you could have like a quiz or you could have something interactive that people can do to sort of stay on your site, but I don't know.
Quizzes are great if you are in a service-based
Yeah,
business, but as a maker, a quiz doesn't make sense.
exactly. Yeah.
But what you can do is say, we're going to go back to that coffee mug just because here it's 8 o'clock in the morning and I'm drinking my coffee.
Good mug though, to be fair.
So we've got our coffee mug. We have the description, and right below it, we have you may also like with links to other products. So if it's Halloween based, maybe other Halloween products you have. If it is handmade, other handmade, maybe products in a similar color variation.
Mm.
But that would encourage them to go, oh, what is this? And click on that. Then at the bottom of that page, there's more you may like. So that's a great way for a maker to keep people on their website looking at products. And that also is going to increase the chances of them actually buying a product if they're really interested in what you have.
That's a really good advice. I say it's really made me think so much about sort of the stuff that I could introduce, because I have a stationery business as well as the coaching as well. So it's made me think a lot. And I was wondering, does this advice apply to marketplaces like Etsy?
Now, Etsy's a little bit different, but yes, some of this you can use as well. So, for example, those product descriptions,
Yeah.
making them descriptive, unique, and having a clear call to action. Because Etsy is going to push the people who are selling products.
Hmm.
So the more you sell, the more Etsy will push you forward. And the problem with platforms like Etsy, well, actually, let's talk about the good things. Etsy makes it super simple to sell. Super simple to sell.
Definitely. It's about how I started my business, to be honest.
Absolutely. But you are also in a sea of other people selling the exact same thing. So
Yeah.
you really have to stand out. You have to be unique. So putting all of those tips and those keywords into your product description, but go if you're only selling on Etsy, so you don't have a website, you're
Yeah.
just on Etsy. That is totally fine. Instead of going to Google to search, go into Etsy and search what you're selling. See who's ranking. See how they're doing it. See what their product descriptions read like.
Yeah.
Analyze that and then apply that to yours. Don't make them identical.
Mhm.
Make them unique with their own twist, because you may find that the top 10 all have the same concept, but they have a different take on it. Now, that's if you're going to stay on Etsy. The other problem with Etsy is Etsy takes a commission.
I've
And
spent so much money in commission. I can't even tell you. One year, it was thousands of pounds. Honestly.
absolutely. So, and that's fine if you don't want to deal with having a website. You can still use SEO on Etsy. But say you want to get rid of that middleman and you want to make all that commission on your own. That's where your website comes into hand. Now, I will say this, SEO is the long game.
Yeah.
It is not a quick fix. It takes time. And your website has to be out there for a little while for Google to start trusting it. Google's not going to trust a brand new website. So if you're looking to make a transition from something like Etsy to selling on your own website, I would encourage you to start your website right now
Hmm.
and send some of your traffic to your Etsy shop or sell on both platforms.
Yes. Even if it's just a few things. Exactly.
Yes, sell on both platforms. And then over time, your Google traffic will start to pick up. And here's a little helpful hint. The fastest way to get Google traffic is through a blog.
Well, do you know, I was just going to move on to blogs. Okay, so I was going to ask you from watching one of your YouTube videos, which was so good, and it was about blogs. And yeah, I wanted to say, obviously, they're not what they used to be. Blogs are not like a diary. You're not talking about, what you did last Saturday and all that lot. you can use it to your advantage, can't you? I know when I started Vintage Tweed that I got a lot of orders from my blog, from talking about my handmade items, but also how they can be used for like weddings and all kinds of events. And I still get orders to this day from it as well. And they've been on there, 14 years? So I wanted to ask you, how, like, can the ladies that listen to this use a blog? Should they have one? And how does it work for them?
Yes, absolutely. They should have one. So,
Yeah.
the way a blog works is it makes it so much easier to get traffic to your website because Google needs to understand your website. And if your website's just like one page,
Mhm.
Google can't really understand that. But if you have a blog that has a series of topics relating to what you do, that gives Google more content to work with. Then you have those blog posts interlinking to each other and to your products, like you said.
Mhm.
That gives Google a digital paper trail to follow to better understand your website. The
Yes.
more Google understands your website and who it's for, the more it will push it out to those people. Then you can also use those blogs to sell your product. Think of them as content marketing for your product. So you said wedding planner.
Yeah.
So, okay, every bride out there is trying to figure out what is the best wedding planner to do, and it could be you could write a blog post on 5 simple steps to plan your dream wedding on a budget.
Hmm.
Okay, that would be a great keyword.
Definitely.
So then you're talking about it and you are showing examples of pictures in your wedding planner. Okay. Every time you use the
Clever.
word wedding planner, you make that a link where they can purchase your wedding planner.
Yes. Amazing.
Okay.
I love
So
it.
that's going to sell your wedding planner. You
Yeah.
could even take it to the next level if you wanted to for affiliate marketing by common things that they may purchase that maybe you don't sell. Link to those on Amazon as an Amazon affiliate, and you'll earn a commission off those purchases as well. But with Amazon, and this is what's great, I'll be honest, its affiliate commissions aren't great, but you get a commission off of everything they put in their cart.
Oh, I've heard this. Yeah. So what? Even if they like buy some, I don't know, a blow up bed or anything.
Yes. So say they're shopping for their wedding and you had these napkins that they loved on there. And they go to Amazon and they put those napkins in their cart. And they're like, "You know what? I need some plates to go with these napkins." So then they buy the plates and they're like, "Oh, we're going to have guests over there, so we need to get 3 inflatable beds so that our guests fit. So let's throw those in there. Oh, you know what? We're out of dish cleaner and laundry detergent. Let's just put those in there as well." You get a commission off of everything in their cart, not just the one product you recommended.
That's so good. And also, you obviously gave much more sensible examples there, in regards to weddings and napkins. I said blow up beds. The reason why I said blow up beds was because we just bought one on Amazon because our daughter doesn't sleep, and I'm going to put my husband on a blow up bed for the nights that she doesn't sleep. So that's the reason why I mentioned that. Well, you get
We just tied it right back into those weddings.
absolutely brilliant. I love it. But that's amazing. So that is definitely something to think about as well, isn't it, with the affiliate marketing? I'm definitely going to look into that. Only since meeting you, I've heard about that. So, just amazing. Thank you. But yeah,
Is one of my favorites.
oh, it's so good. I'll have to have a separate podcast episode on that with you. But yeah, I mean, so say like there's a lady listening to this that creates candles. What could they be blogging on? Like, say they do make candles. What could they be talking about to bring sort of business into them? Would it be like, top 5 scents for your home this Christmas? Or I don't know. Is that the kind of thing that Google would favor?
Okay, so candles specifically.
Hmm.
Um, Candles would be a great website because everybody loves candles.
Hmm.
Okay, so they could have articles like, "What's the difference between a soy based and a beeswax based candle?"
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah.
then they could write about burn times, how they burn cleanly. They can write about the difference between candle wicks and what they put off. So they could even write an article on how to make your own candles at home.
Mm. Because if you go on Google, they're looking for that, aren't they? They're actually looking for these things. How do you do this?
Yes. And then they can still have links to their candles in there because when people inevitably go to make their candles at home and then fail, they need to buy some. But candles are actually one product where I think a quiz would do really well on a website because it's find your ideal scent. Another thing with a candle company, you could do like the five best candles for fall, and then showcase your candles and the fall scents. You could do that for every season. You could
Amazing.
do candles for flower lovers. You could do great Mother's Day roundup post with candles. So
Wow.
there's lots of options out there for that with a blog.
Can I ask you one more question? This is on behalf of one of the ladies that I work with who she's supported her handmade hustle since day one. She's absolutely fabulous. I know she listens to this. Her name is Sharon, and she makes these most beautiful crochet creations. Like she makes plant pots out of crochet. She makes all kinds of things for like the home and storage and organization. And yeah, her company is called Gifts by Granny. I'm going to give her a little shout out because she deserves it. She's working on her website at the moment, so she's desperate to listen to this episode. But you know, like if she was to do a blog or she was to talk about her products, like what sort of angle could she go for? Obviously, making crochet things it's hard, isn't it, to talk about to somebody? I don't know. I mean, could she do like a DIY thing, how to make them, or would that be self-sabotage? I'm not sure.
No, not necessarily. Okay, so Sharon, this is what you need to do. First of all, I'm all about crochet. My mom is a big crochet person, and I started crocheting. I remember when I was like 6, I learned how to crochet a chain, and I crocheted a chain long enough to reach from one corner of my room to the other. So
Yeah.
proud.
Oh, have you still got it?
No, no, but I have about 10 unfinished crochet projects in the closet.
Brilliant.
But okay, so with crochet specifically, yes, you sell products. You could potentially branch out into digital products like patterns as well, if that's something you would like to do, because that's a great way where you could make a lot of money. You can sell the pattern, you can display your creation, and now you're selling your crochet craft without having to actually make 10,000 of them, because you can't make very quickly 10,000 crocheted scarves or doilies, but you can quickly sell 10,000 patterns
Mm.
for that. Okay, so that would be a good way to do it. You could also write blog posts on how to use your crochet products.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you can also take that pattern you're selling and include affiliate links to the yarn you used.
Oh yeah.
So you can do the Amazon affiliate, but I guarantee you yarn shops are going to have affiliate programs as well. And if they don't, I guarantee you they'll be willing to create one because you're now selling their product for them and
Yeah.
boosting their sales. So these are all ways you could take that topic of crochet and turn it into its own business and website. And you could scale very easily by simply creating and selling patterns.
That's amazing. I never even thought about that. That's absolutely fantastic. So yeah, it's another avenue, isn't it, of income? A
Absolutely.
bit more passive income as well, which is another area of your speciality. So we could go on forever, couldn't we? But I just wanted to ask you as well about social media because it is the bane, I think, of every small business owner's life. Like it's a pain in our backsides, as in, let's be honest, nobody likes doing it. We do it because we have to, not because we particularly enjoy it. There might be a few of us out there that do. And I think what it is, it's just because it's time consuming, and because we're doing it, we want to make sure we're doing it right, and the posts that we're creating are actually reaching the people that we want them to. So, in terms of SEO, can we use SEO with social media as well? Like, does it work as well for that?
Yes. Okay, so SEO has taken over the universe at this point. So, yeah, anything you put out there on YouTube, on social media, it needs to be optimized for SEO. Even 6 months ago on Instagram, you could do a lot with hashtags. Have
Yeah,
the right hashtags and it'll send your information out. Hashtags are not really performing so well anymore. As a
yeah,
matter of fact, one group I was in, I got to sit in and listen to someone have a call with Meta on what they could be doing. And Meta recommended 5 to 8 relevant hashtags. That's it.
that's it.
But they are optimizing for SEO.
Mm.
You need to have that in there. You need to have keywords within the descriptions of your Instagram post, keywords within the description and in the videos of your TikToks, Instagram Reels. All of that needs to have those keywords in there. So adding captions is a good way to do it.
Yeah, descriptions are imperative then, aren't they?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And another thing that I'm going to piggyback to the website real quick, incorporate into those blog posts tutorials on how to use products or how to create products, because video is ranking
Yes.
and Google owns YouTube.
Oh gosh, they own everything.
Yeah. Well, you've got Google and you've got Meta. And
Yeah.
between those two, they've got it covered.
Oh my gosh. Oh, so yeah, so they're the main people you need, like the big bosses, aren't they, that you've got to impress, basically.
Absolutely.
Wow. So, okay, so with social media, say I'm creating a post and I want to reach ladies that are looking for a nice scent for their lounge, ready for Christmas. I want to make sure there's good content in there, good keywords. Obviously, sometimes you put posts out and you think, are they too long? You know, am I rambling? I'm guessing you got to keep it relevant, keep it quite succinct, because again, people don't read, like we say. So you've got to make sure that you've got what matters in there.
Okay. So we're talking candles, right?
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to take this from two angles. Number one, the photo.
Mm.
You have the picture of the photo. Include on the picture of the photo the perfect holiday scent, link in bio. Bam. That's your call to action right there. You're just with a picture, you're telling what it is and where to buy it. That's for all those scrollers who never look at descriptions at all.
Yeah. Is that on a static image then, not just a reel? Is that
Yes,
like you put that on a
that is on the static image. Put the text on the image.
okay.
Then, and you can do that super easy in Canva. You can even do it right in Instagram
Yeah, you can.
very easily. So, and that's why you need the link in bio, because if it's in your story, you can put a link right to it.
Yeah.
So that's easy enough. Then in your or not your video description, your post description, you can go into more detail with the keywords. Light up your lounge with a perfect holiday scent for Christmas parties or simply enjoying the cold winter mornings. And really hit on this candle is the ideal Christmas scent,
Mhm.
and it evokes feelings of blah, 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 blah. Now, people may or may not read that description, but Instagram is reading that description. They
Exactly.
are seeing those keywords and they are sending that post out to people who are looking for similar content. So now you've got the image performing for you and you have the caption performing for you.
That is so good to know because I always thought, right, I thought with hashtags, that is all, not all you need to send it out to the right audience, but I didn't realize that Instagram reads the content that specifically and then can send it to people who obviously are looking for that as well. So that's really good to know. So content is key, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Amazing. So yeah, so next time they're writing social media posts or I am, try not to hate it as much. I think is the advice. Try and use it as a marketing technique as best as possible to reach the right people.
Well, and you can repurpose as well, because here's the deal. Your audience on Facebook is different than your
Mhm.
audience on Instagram, is different than your audience on TikTok.
Yeah.
So you can simply create one post, one reel, one anything, and then you can post it on all three platforms. Just use a scheduler that will send it out to all three platforms at once.
Yes.
And that way you're hitting all of those audience, but you didn't have to create three pieces of content. You're doing it with the exact same piece of content. I'm all about working smarter, not harder.
Since I turned 40, that's my new motto because I'm done with working like my backside off, honestly. I can't do it anymore. I need to be making sure that what I'm doing is smarter. You're right. Completely. That's really, really good advice. I know a lot of ladies will find that helpful because say it's the bane of everybody's life. It's really difficult being in charge of making stuff and running a business and then doing the whole social media side of things as well. So knowing that it's worth it is good to know. So thank
Well,
you.
yeah, and once you hit middle age to later in life, you have so many extra responsibilities you never had when you're younger. I know that I've had to deal with the death of my father, the death of my sister. I have to take care of my mom who doesn't like to drive in cities. I have to take her to doctor's appointments.
Yeah.
So you have all of these extra responsibilities. You might have kids.
Yeah.
All of that weighs on your time. And frankly, all of that is so much more important than
Mm,
anything else.
it is.
So by structuring your business in a way to make it work for you, instead of the other way around, don't be a slave to your business. Make it work for you. That gives you time to spend with the people you love, to take care of the responsibilities you have in life that whose importance far exceed your business in the first place.
I think we're all guilty of it, aren't we? Because like I know for me, obviously I've got a 5-year-old little girl and I can put her iPad on or she can watch TV while I'm trying to write my social media posts. And I feel really guilty about it because I think, well, I've got my own business and it's something that I have to do. But she looks at me sometimes and goes, "Mummy, get off your phone." And it upsets me. And I think like, yeah, she's right. Obviously I work for myself and I feel like I have to do it more than I would do if I worked in a 9 to 5 job. Um, but I want to try and find more ways to sort of automize the way that I work as well. And you're right, there's nothing more important, no matter what, than the things you have to do and that you want to do. And it's
Absolutely.
is right, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Oh, that's fantastic. So, have you got any final top tips that you can give our ladies before we finish, just to help them get seen more, get more visible, give them the confidence? Because I know it's a big, scary thing. Like, you sometimes feel like you're doing it and you're thinking, what's the point? It's a massive world out there. Who's going to find me? Like, can you give them a bit of a boost?
Don't give up. Stay consistent. And remember, at the end of the day, a lot of the people you're reaching out to, they don't know you.
Yeah.
So if they're not interested in what you have, who cares?
Hmm.
And that's something I still get over. I sent 20 Instagram DMs this morning for a training that I have tomorrow. And I'm like, what if people say no? And then I was like, well, what if people say no? I don't know these people. I'm not going to see these people. It's fine.
Okay.
But you know what? Oh, some of them said no. Some of them said yes.
Did they? Amazing.
So don't take it personally. If people aren't interested in what you have, keep putting it out there because there is someone interested in what you have to offer. And once you find a couple of people, they're going to spread the word to a couple more people, and it's going to start to spread and grow.
And that's how it grows. You're right. It's being consistent and you can keep going and going and going. And I've been doing Her Handmade Hustle now for a year, and hand on heart, only in the last probably month has it started to take off. It's taken me a year to sort of get seen, get visible on Google, for the words to be passed around. And that's the advice I would give as well. Just keep going and don't quit, because the difference between people who succeed and fail are the ones who give up.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You have to keep going. And failure is not a bad thing. Failure is something that you can learn from. So many of us have a failure and we just feel defeated and broken down. But if you can manage to turn that around and go, okay, this failed. Why did it fail?
Mhm.
Was my audience not ready for it? Is there a flaw in the product? Is it that I am just looking for the wrong audience right now and I need to tweak? And I've done that in the middle of launches for my business. In
Really?
the middle, I'm like, you know what? I think I'm targeting the wrong audience. I need to tweak that. And it turns it around. It also sets me up. And I have had launches where I didn't sell anything,
Hmm.
nothing.
Me too. Yeah.
Instead, I go through and I break that launch down and I'm like, what did I do? Why didn't it work? What can I do to make the next one better? Don't view it as something personal on you.
Mhm.
View it as, okay, how can we tweak this to improve it down the road?
You're right, because we all sometimes feel like it's our fault, and it's not necessarily. We just might be just going at it at the wrong angle, and it needs a different approach.
Absolutely.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, thank you so much. So if anybody wants to get hold of you, you've got a YouTube channel. Like, I'm going to put the link to how to contact you in the show notes. So anybody can get in touch with you. But yeah, your YouTube channel, I highly recommend to everybody. It is so good. You've got like 500 subscribers or something now. I'm your latest one, I think, just so you know.
Yeah. Yes, I've been working really hard on growing that channel, but I'm focused on solely growing it through SEO.
Yes.
I have not like put it out on social media for my friends. I'm only interested in people who are really interested in what I have to say. I don't want followers just to have followers. I want followers who are going to find value in my content.
Yeah.
So I have been working at it really hard for almost a year now. and I'm up to 500 subscribers, and that's all organic subscribers who engage with me, who email me to ask questions, and I love it.
That's absolutely fantastic. And that's another option, isn't it? YouTube for people, just not to, go into it too much, but YouTube is a really good one because it's a search engine in itself, isn't it? So it's
Yes,
something.
absolutely. And if you link that with your blog, you're hitting two birds with one stone.
Oh my God, you know what I've got on my list to do next week? Then I'm going to write some blogs because I have one set up on my website and I think I've done 2 articles because my head's been all over the place. You know what us creative types are like? We're dipping into things and we're never quite finishing a job. So I'm going to actually have a dedicated day a week that I do write blogs. So that's because of you. Thank you.
Yeah, and if any of your audience wants to really get serious about this and dive into it, I do have a membership called Creative SEO, and it is designed for creatives to help get their websites found on Google. We also are going to be hitting on topics like YouTube, how to use social media as well. So it's kind of the whole gamut. And because passive income is so passionate to me, I decided 2 months ago, I incorporated my signature course, Passive Income Academy, into that membership. So when you join that membership, you also get access to all the trainings from that course as well, so that you can set it up so those sales start making in your sleep instead of having to constantly be on social media promoting them.
So I could put a link to that in the show notes as well. So people can visit that if they were interested. Thank you. Well, honestly, I've really enjoyed our chat today. I think people find this so helpful. I know I have. I mean, I've got loads to think about. You've set me up for the weekend. I need to get a new notepad for all the things I'm going to have to write down now and plan. But thank you. Thanks for joining us, Tonya. It's been a pleasure.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here.
No problem. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So that was my chat with Dr. Tonya Lawson. Honestly, she was such a lovely lady. She was so knowledgeable and easy to talk to. I just thoroughly enjoyed it. It was great. Hopefully you got some good notes written down too and a solid action plan of how you can implement all of those things that Tonya talks about on your website or your social media pages or wherever you are online. If you want to get in touch with Tonya, you can visit her website, tonyalawson.com. And I definitely recommend that you watch her YouTube videos. They are really good. I actually watched one of her videos the other night instead of putting on Netflix, the program that I'm watching at the moment. I binned it off for Tonya's video. It was great. I really enjoyed it. Tonya's also got her monthly membership called the Creative SEO. I've put the link to that in my show notes as well. So if you want to go and check that out, everything is in there and you can find it all there. So thanks for listening today. That's all. A massive thank you again to Tonya for sharing all that information with us. And of course, to you for listening. Take care. I'll see you again next week for another episode of the Her Handmade Hustle Unplugged podcast.